So this is a 2016 paper. It was written on 26th August 2016, about 9 years ago. Let us see. The first question, which of the following is not a characteristics of living organism? Which of the following is not a characteristics of living organism? So, egestion, excretion, growth, sensitivity. Which of the following is not a characteristics of all living organisms? Okay, so let us look at the 2016 paper now. So for this one, it was written on October 26th, 2016, about 9 years ago. Let us look at what we have here. So for the first question, which of the following is not a characteristics of all living organisms? One thing that I'll urge you at this point is that before you answer a question, don't use experience in answering the questions. Because you saw them somewhere and the answer was B, you expect it to be B this time around. Understand the question and now answer the question. So the understanding of the question is that these are characteristics of living organism, but in not all living organism. Which one is that? Egestion. Excretion, all living organisms excrete. Grow, they grow. Sensitive, they are sensitive. But egestion, which is just a removal of undigested food through the anus, you are aware that plants, they do not have that, so they do not excrete. Do that egestion. So the answer is A. Question 2. Some stages in the preparation of epidermis of onion for observation under microscope are listed below. So these are stages that are listed below. So 1, focus the microscope. 2, place the epidermis on the glass slide. 3, peel the epidermis from an onion. 4, cover the epidermis with a glass. Then add iodine solution. So you all start by peeling. So peel the epidermis from, so we need the answer that is starting with 3. So already these, we cannot look at them. So let us go for C and D. What is the next one? So after peeling, so peel from the onion. Then place on the glass slide. So place it on the glass slide. So we are going to go 3, 2. Okay, let us see. What is the next one? The next one, add iodine solution. So you add iodine solution. So 5. Then cover it. What do you do? Cover it with cover the epidermis with a clip. Then now that is when you focus under the microscope. So the answer is C right here. Question 3. The diagram shows an experiment to demonstrate biological processes. So as we can see, concentrated sugar solution at the beginning, at the end, 2 hours later. So you can see at the beginning, here there's a membrane. Then at the end, you find that it's fully distributed everywhere. Okay. Now, what processes are responsible for the movement of water and the dye? What processes are responsible for the movement of water and dye? The process of water movement is osmosis, no doubt. So this and that cancels out. Then what about the movement of the dye? So is it translocation? Is it diffusion? So in this case, we are going with diffusion. So the answer is B. What do you think is the answer? Do you have another reason or do you have another explanation for the answer that you have aside from B? Be able to explain that. We proceed to question 4. A food sample solution was mixed with 2 cubic centimeter or centimeter cubic of the Benedict solution and gently heated for 2 minutes. What is the possible observation and conclusion from the experiment? So when you have a food sample, you test it and heat it, already using Benedict solution. Benedict solution is used for reducing sugars. So the possible outcome we expect for the positive indication of reducing sugars. So possible observation, color turns from blue to orange. Color turns blue to orange. Colors turns blue. So these we remove them. Then we are saying proteins present. No, this is not protein. It's reducing sugars. So reducing sugars present. So the answer here, question 4, is B. Okay. What about question 5? Which of the components of balanced diet is used to make new enzymes, molecule? Which of the following which of the component of balanced diet is used to make new enzymes. So enzymes are protein nature. That is what we say, one of the characteristics of enzyme. So proteins, which is C. Question 6, which of these correctly identifies the nutritional related disorder and their causes? Which of the following correctly identifies the nutritional related disorder and their causes? Kwashiorkor is caused by lack of protein. So we don't need carbohydrate. These answers that have carbohydrate. So we focus on C and D. Rickets is calcium, not vitamin C. So already this one has won. Let us confirm for iron. For anemia, that is iron. So the answer here is D. So you can use elimination method, not guess method, but elimination method. It is easier. So try it out. Question 7, what substances contain magnesium and nitrogen in plants? So magnesium is necessary for chlorophyll synthesis. So we need those that start with chlorophyll, so no amino acids. Then nitrogen, look at this. Is it starch? No, it's protein. So the answer is C. Look at how simple it is. The diagram below shows section of a leaf seen under a microscope. That is question 8. In which part is the carbon dioxide concentration the lowest during sun day? Now, the question you ask yourself, what happened during sun day? What happened during sun day is that, or when it is Sunday, the rate of photosynthesis is very high. Rate of photosynthesis very high. Now, what is photosynthesis? What are the raw material for this? Raw material for this is carbon dioxide. So where does photosynthesis take place here? It is B. So you expect the rate of carbon dioxide to be less in B because it is being used up for the process of what? Photosynthesis. Okay, I guess you get the thing. Then question 9, which of the following is not an important of saprophytic nutrition? 1. Decomposition of dead organic matter, manufacturing of food nutrients, production of antibiotics, recycling of nutrients. Now, which one is which? Now, saprophytes are heterotrophs, which means they feed on saprophytic nutrition. Let me say itself, they feed on dead organic matter, so they do not make food. So the one for manufacturing of nutrients is the one that is not. Now at this point also, as you look at multiple choice, because you guys, it will be more like you're studying. So you get to look at, for example here, what do I take on this question? I will know that function of saprophytic nutrition 1, decomposition of dead organic matter, production of antibiotics, recycling of nutrients. All these are functions. So if you needed to know about the function of saprophytic nutrition, you have them. Okay, so the answer here is C, which is not the function because these feed on already made food. Question 10, the following is the dental formula of a dog. How many teeth are there in the lower jaw of the dog? We've answered such a question at some point. Now it was on the upper jaw. This time around on the lower jaw. So what do you do? You add this 3 plus 1 plus 4 plus 13. What is the answer? That is the 4, 4, 9. That is the, 8. That is 11. 11 multiplied by 2, that is 22. That is how you answer. So the question is, the answer is C. You look at how you look at the question. So the question sometimes they just come differently, just the opposite part of it. But I'm not saying you start guessing, but you need to understand. Up to question 11, the diagram below shows the human alimentary canal. Which nutrients are digested in the region P, Q, and D, M? Now, this is the stomach. I'm sure this one, what is digested here are proteins. So anything that has something else, we don't need it. So we are going to go to C and D. So proteins. Then here is from the stomach. Immediately there, you find the duodenum. Now, what is digested in the duodenum? In the duodenum, they are not peptides. Peptides, these happen in the jejunum. So still in the duodenum, you have the saccharide. So what is digested in the duodenum is it? So we can talk of starch. Since this one has failed, so we can go for starch. Then, which means the last one is maltose. So the answer is D. What do you think is the answer here? Okay, so let us proceed to the next question. That is question 12. The chart shows the risk of human heart disease developing in men who smoke cigarette. So as you can see the chart, so we have who smoke 5 cigarettes, that's the number of cigarettes on this part, who smoke 10 cigarettes, who smoke 15, who smoke 20. Then of course the risk there, number of men dying from the disease per 100,000. Which group of men is most at risk? We can look at this. So this is the age, you can see the age 55 to 64, who smoke 20 cigarettes. So if you look at T, men age 54 to 64, 55 to 64, who smoke 20 cigarettes per day. Okay, let us proceed to question 13. Which of the following is the best or best describes how HIV is transmitted? So HIV is transmitted through having sexual intercourse with unprotected sex with someone who is infected. So having sexual intercourse with an infected person. That is the one way to have HIV. Question 14. What type of immunity do the antibodies in mother breast milk? What type of immunity do antibodies in mother's breast milk provide? So this is called natural passive. Okay, that is called what? Natural passive. So the answer is D. I guess I can find time at some point to explain all this. So question 15. In an experiment to investigate transpiration for identical leaf shoot were treated as follows. So shoot 1, upper leaf. So look at this. We are talking about the leaf. I want you to get it very well. We are talking about a leaf. Now at the bottom of a leaf, this is the top, this is the bottom. At the bottom we have a lot of stomata. You have a lot of stomata. Therefore it loses water more at the bottom than on the shiny part, the top part. So we are told here these were treated. Now look at this, upper leaf surface covered with Vaseline. Now Vaseline is waterproof, and of course it forms a layer that prevent water from evaporating. So upper leaf is covered with Vaseline, then jelly waterproof. So upper leaf, if it is covered on the upper leaf, there's a chance that it will lose water because normally water is lost on the bottom part. So that does not prevent much of, or does not lessen, or does not slow the process of transpiration. So the plant or the leaf is still going to lose water. Then lower part, surface covered. So when you cover the lower surface now, you are reducing the process of transpiration compared to the first one. Okay, so the one that loses most water here is this one, then followed by this one. No, it is this one. So loss of water, this one transpiration is fast, this one becomes slow because you've covered the stomata. Then upper part of a leaf covered, so upper and lower part covered. So this one is the least because this one water will not be lost because it has been covered. Then untreated will be the fastest. So this one will be the first one, which is the A, because when shifting to this side, the first one is the one that loses water fast. So this one will be 4, then followed by the one that is covered, the one that is covered just on top, which is 1, then followed by the one that is covered, let me see, untreated for upper leaf. So the least one is the one that is covered on the upper and lower, 3, then which means the one that is remaining is the one that is covered on the lower part. Okay, lower surface covered, this is 2. Okay, so this is how the graphs are going to be. Now what is the question? Which line shows the leaf for shoot 1? Show shoot 1, upper leaf covered with Vaseline. So it is B. So the answer here is B. Now look at question 16. Some of the components of the blood of a mammal are listed below. Some of the components of blood of mammal are listed below. Antibodies, fibrinogen, platelets, and D. Which of the two of the components are involved in blood clotting? So one is involved is the platelets. So we are sure that platelets are involved. So anything that has 3 in it. So these are not possible answers. Then fibrinogen. So 3 and D 2. So the answer is C. Okay, that is for question 16. Now let us look at question 17. So why is it important to determine the rhesus factor of the pregnant woman? Now have a look at also this rhesus factor. So rhesus factor normally may result into or that is to prevent the hemolytic disease in the fetus. So hemolytic disease called erythroblastosis fetalis may occur because the rhesus factors produces antibodies against that fetus growth. So have a look at this part as well, okay, aside from looking at blood groups. Question 18, the diagram shows the kidney and 3 tubes associated with it. In which tube will the most urea be found? So the blood that goes into the kidney, it goes there to be cleaned of urea. So you expect it to have a lot of urea. But also when urine is formed, the one that is in the ureter or ureter also has the highest because that is the urine. So here, if we were to look at it, the answer can be Y and Z. If there is Y and Z, then that is our answer. But here we do not have Y and Z. We only have X and Z, X and Y. So here we can just go with Z only. Question 19, the diagram shows the skin temperature in human body when it is exposed to cold. So exposed to cold air and then exposed to warm. So from cold to warm. Now, under this one, when you look at homeostasis, have a look at the skin, how it controls or how it prevents the loss of heat. Okay? Very important that you look at this. I have the complete lesson just right on this platform. You need to go through. What causes the observed changes in the skin temperature on exposure to warm air? So when you're exposed to warm air, what happens? There's what we call vasodilation, so that blood can pass through near the skin and lose heat. Also, what happens is to the erector muscle, it relaxes, causing the air to fall. All those. Now let us look at the answer. Less blood flowing just below the skin. No, it has to be more. So more blood flowing just near the skin or just below the skin. Question 20. Which of the following result from increased secretion of adrenaline? Decreased breathing rate. So when you have adrenaline produced, you know that it's the flight and fight hormone. So it prepare the body for action by increasing the breathing rate, increasing the supply of glucose to the blood and all that. So which one? So the answer here is D. That is increased supply of glucose in the blood. Okay. Then have a look at 21. A person accidentally steps on the thorn. In which order does the electric impulse move? So from the sensory to the relay to the motor. So the answer is D. Okay, so that is the order. Then question 22. Question 22 is, the diagram below shows the muscle which controls the size of the pupil in an eye. We have the scapular muscle, the radial muscle, the iris, the pupil. How does the muscle make the pupil large? So how does the muscle make the pupil large? How does the muscle makes the pupil large? So the scapular muscle relaxes. So scapular muscle relax, so we don't need the one that contracts, relax. Then of course the radial contract. As you know, these work antagonistically, which means when the other one contracts, the other one relaxes. Question 23, the exoskeleton of insect is made up of, so it's made up of a protein called chitin. So the answer is B. The diagram below shows the germinating cereal grain. Okay. So now you can see the direction of light. Now there's a hormone which we call auxin. Auxin is produced much on the section receiving light. So in other words, it's the one that perceives light and of course result into cell division or cell elongation so that this shoot can grow toward what? Toward the direction of light. Now what is the question? What will happen at X if the light shines on the shoot from the direction shown? So what will happen is that rate of growth will increase at X. And of course, amount of auxin will be very high. So the answer here is A. Okay, so have a look at this part under tropic and the tropic responses. Question 25, the diagram below shows the longitudinal section through the shoot apex. What labeled part show the region of elongation? So at the apex there is a growth center. You find there cell division. In the case the question comes a different way. So cell division. Then from cell division B you find cell elongation, ovaculation, and also this at the bottom you find specialization or differentiation. Okay, so the answer therefore is A. And I have a look at my lesson on growth and development. I have a full lessons just on this part. So growth and development, it covers that is the growth in stem, growth in plants and also in animals, where you look at the fly and the mosquito cycle. Then also look at germination, the process of germination. So all those are the things that you find in the video. 26, the diagram shows the bean which when planted, the bean seed when planted, and the same seed 2 days later. So the diagram below shows the bean seed when planted and 2 days later. Now the bean seed is the monocot. So let us see the question. Which conditions are necessary for these changes? So which conditions are necessary for germination? Because that is what happened to the seed. So suitable temperature should be ticked. Presence of water should be ticked. Carbon dioxide should be, no. Carbon dioxide should not be ticked, but oxygen should be ticked. So let us see. So where there is suitable temperature not ticked is not the answer. Where there is oxygen not ticked is not the answer. So we focus on B and C. So what should not be ticked is carbon dioxide. So the answer is B. What term is used to describe the process in which new individual gradually grows from the parent and eventually break out or separate? This is called budding. Question 28. Which of these correctly identifies the natural and artificial method of propagation? So it is comb, then grafting. All these, make sure that you look at them. Then question 29. The flower shows adaptation of wind or insect pollination. Which of the following adaptation are found in wind pollinated? So wind pollinated, the anther is loosely attached. So not firmly attached, but loosely attached. Nectary do not have nectary, so absent. Then stigma. The stigma in wind pollinated, the stigma is shorter, okay, or inside the flower. Is it inside the flower? No, it should be outside the flower. So the stigma is outside the flower so that it can easily trap the pollen grain. Okay, so it is outside the that is outside the flower. So the answer here is D. Question 30, the diagram shows part of the placenta, as you can see, if you can see the diagram. In which numbered part does the blood contain highest amount of oxygen and nutrients? So the one that comes from the mother, that is in the artery, has a lot of oxygen. So 1. And the one that goes now to the baby, that is the umbilical artery. Okay, so umbilical artery. So for me, I'll go to 1 and 3. What is the answer there? Okay, what is the answer there? So be able to put up in the comment section. Question 31, the diagram shows part of the female reproductive system, as you can see, which part is cut during vasectomy. So vasectomy involves cutting the sperm duct. Okay, so, or the vas deferens. So that is A. Question 32, which of the following is not the cause of infertility in human being? So A, alcoholism is one of the cause, blocked oviduct is one of the cause, weak sperm is one of the cause. So in this case is use of antibiotics. Then question 33, which of the following are correct example of continuous and discontinuous variation? So for continuous variation, we have height, anything else, eye color, so it's just the height, then discontinuous eye color. So the answer is A for 33. Okay, it's A for 33. So let us look at 34. The diagram shows the group of some members of a family. That is, as you can see, what are the blood genotype of the parents, P and D, Q? So let us look at the key, male, female. Blood group. So this child is blood group AB, this is blood group B, that is blood group O. Now, if there's a child who is blood group O, which means part of the blood group of the parent is O. Because blood group O, you know that it's O, O, and one allele from the father, one from the mother. So expect the father to have O, the mother also to have O. Part. Okay, so we have a child who is AB. Already we know that one of these parents should be A, the other one should be what? B. So where you find A, O, B, O, that is the answer, not this. So A, O, B, O. Yeah, this. So the answer is A. Question 35, what type of plant are shown in the diagram above? What type of plants? So, what types of plants are these? What do you think are the types of plants? So look at this. Ferns do not produce flowers. I can see something here, I can see something here, but ferns do not produce flowers. So with my eyes, I can see 3 to be the ferns. So the one that starts with 3, which means moss, is 4. Angiosperm are flowering plants, which is 2. At least I can see the flower there. Then, of course, coniferous, we can talk of 1. So, which one do you think is the answer here? So, as far as I can see, that is what I can see, and therefore the answer is C. Question 36, the diagram below, or the diagram shows an experiment to find out the proportion of air in the soil sample. That is the 40 cubic centimeter or so added. Okay, so we are finding the proportion of air in the sample. So look at the experiment. Now, what was the percentage of air content by volume of the soil? Okay, so what is the answer to this question? So this is question 36 of 2016. So what is the answer to this question? Be able to comment, write the question number and the year. What is your answer? Question 37. The following organisms are found in an ecosystem: snake, grass, grasshopper, and birds. Which of the following features, or which of the following food chain correctly represent the feeding relation in an ecosystem? So for feeding relation, you need to start with the producer. So, no, yeah, the producer, which is the grass. So you're going to start with 1. Then now, the primary consumer, which is 3. Then now, the secondary, which is the bird. Then now, from the bird, you can go to the snake. Oh, what is number represent the bird? So 4, then 2. So expect to find 1, 3, 4, 2. 1, 3, 4, 2. 1, 3, 4, 2. So the answer is B. The diagram below shows the simple food web, as you can see. Which of the following organism in the food web is primary consumer? So primary consumer are the ones that feed the only producer. The producer is a plant. So all these that feed here, this one are what we call primary consumer. So we have the rabbit and the mouse. So do we have the rabbit? Do we have the mouse? So we only have the rabbit. So the answer is the rabbit. The diagram below shows part of the carbon cycle. What process is represented by the arrow X? So from animals, it goes to the atmosphere. This is a carbon cycle. Plants or animals contribute to carbon dioxide in the atmosphere through respiration. So therefore, the answer is D. Question 40. Which two poisonous substances are found in metal exhaust fume? What is the answer to this question? So this is not me just answering the question, but we are going to answer the questions together. So also here, question 40, make sure that you answer it, okay? Have you enjoyed up to this point? Please do not forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Do not forget to share with others. Let us revise together as we prepare for paper 1. And also it's a motivation for me to see that indeed people are benefiting. So you need to support by subscribing.